Hello everyone, this is Point and Click Gaming. Welcome back. We're going to be going over 1v1 War of Dots map pool number 3, maps number 11 through 15. I noticed a couple duplicates. I left it in the notes with the zip file. I will fix the tier list accordingly. So there's only 28 1v1 map pool. Recently, I advanced literally almost 10 elo points. I think 11 actually. So I moved up 3 spaces. I don't know. It's less pressure at the 1400s. At the 1600s, you literally have to win like 10 games. I think I won like 7 elo off of a high level player. So yeah, extra 2. So top 47. Pretty happy with top 50. I don't know. I think top 5 champions is definitely out of it. Maybe top 15. There's like still 400 elo to go, so I'd have to win like 400 battles or something. So that's too much of a grind. I'd have to go to win 1,000 games, and that's not considering that for every loss I do, I take away like 10 or 15 elo. So I'd have to win like another 15 games. It's pretty brutal at the top elo. Anyway, let's go back to the tier list. Map number 11. So let's take a look at that. So this is map number 11. Looking on the elo. Where are we here? Did they rename it? Should be a river on top. Map 24. Oh, because I renamed it, because map 11 was a duplicate. Okay, so it's relatively balanced. And I concur, right? These mountains aren't obstructing anything. You have a naval invasion. Um, Previously, I used to naval invade. That would be things I would tend to do. But as you get to the high level, it's much more grindy. So these two naval invade units aren't as useful. Another strategy I used to do was naval invade down south or try and take a 2-on-1 battle with the red tank. So you'd move these units here. Blue was usually moving their units thing. Red has a slight advantage because of a naval invasion opportunity. You're basically going to scout out where his second unit is. You could obviously pull it back to the second city here, but anything just to cause a distraction, if you have faster micro than your opponent, you're just going to be forcing various errors. If you notice here, red has a slight advantage, especially if you have these naval units landing on this peninsula here. There's extra spacing for red to attack this 2-on-1. Good reinforce as well up here. You move a tank along these plains, and it's a pretty casual fight for red. This time I'm red on map number 11. We see this northern invasion here. Obviously, blue's already on the city. You could see by the funds if blue is on the city, so you could see, so it's already accumulating. So you know blue has troops, so there's no point in naval invading. As I said before, there's that peninsula there, so you get a troop in the back. This unit will reinforce, so you could even go for a second naval invasion. So if you have a second boat, you can actually thing. I don't recommend it, but yeah, there's my naval invasion. You move a tank up north. Red's getting into position. Obviously, these troops back here are going to reinforce in the long run. But I think it's a worthwhile trade. This troop is getting depleted over time. Like you're forcing a mismatch. This unit needs to be pulled back, and then you're just going down the line. So yeah, there's me trying to get behind, which is bad because I'm stuck in the water at the moment. Um, but yeah, like pretty good example of an interesting opening, and then just pulling units back. I have a troop deficit compared to him, but I have a attack advantage of he has weaker units, so he's gonna have to pull back, and that troop deficit is going to disappear quite quickly, even though I have less morale. Right? See, there's that water, and then there's my troop advantage. Um, Forcing mistake, getting reinforced. This unit is not contributing anything, so is that, but like so is this. This needs to get out of there. Quicker reinforce. I'm messing around with this to be honest with you. But yeah, pretty standard opening as red, attacking in the north. Maybe force something down here, but a person could only micro so much. And yeah, I think this is a mistake committing so many forces there. But with this tank attacking to this light unit, it's decent. So you have a 4-on-1, 3-on-1 because this unit is kind of getting attacked as well. There's now the 4-on-1. This unit is going to exchange one of them. Oh no, okay, this unit is going to exchange one of them. So yeah, forcing mistakes, getting troops out of position. A little bit of a loss here. I lose a unit more, but that's a pretty standard opening of how I'd play this. Uh, Look, there's the open city as well. As said before, maybe some naval units in the back's always good. Do I rush it? Oh no, I rushed the tank. Do I? Oh, I noticed the empty city. Oh, I go for a tank encirclement up in the north. Okay, that's as I said before. That's a valid strategy. I noticed the empty city as well, which I guess is another valid strategy there. There's the tank to stop the gap, and then yeah, it's pretty much game over. Blue is not advised to attack up north just because of this slight imbalance. Honestly, what was is probably smart is if you pull back a little bit, pull back this entire line back just a little bit because you're further away from your city, and it just buys you some more time. Okay, we're back on this map again as blue. What's my strategy? Red's forcing center. I always like to take this northern battle. Weird. You would think. Oh, because of the forest. Okay. Do I go for naval invasion? There's no point in naval invading red here. It's just really hard. So I think this is definitely in favor of red. Um, Mistake. Obviously, there's a gap there. So just note it. Counting game. Where did the guy go? Reinforce the city as I have a thing. Whoa, I'm ahead of him on funds. I must have got back to the city faster. This makes sense to me. But yeah. Oh, he's not on the city properly, is he? No, he is. Oh yeah, one of them's not on the city. But yeah, a standard opening, not much more to say. Forcing a mismatch battle. This troop is eventually going to come in and reinforce. But yeah, standard opening. As I said before, it's really hard to attack into this. You can, but this I would swing this red unit, and it's difficult. Naval invasions is definitely a thing. At the high level, they're probably forcing you to make a lot of decisions and overloading you. But for regular play, I think this is just decent. I'm gonna get punished sooner or later in the future, but that day is not today. And then wow, forcing an battle imbalance there. Nope, that unit's gonna retreat. But yeah, that's a pretty standard opening. That I think this. Do I eventually retreat this unit? Obviously, advantage in the south here, because these troops aren't doing anything. The opportunity cost of having a unit on the city is that they aren't attacking. But obviously, it costs a lot to attack. You lose morale much quicker. And then yes, like he has two units here not doing anything. There's a large opportunity cost to that, and then these units are just going to get weaker. And there's my troop advantage. So yeah, red. I always like to move this tank up north. I mean, there's obviously tank imbalance here. You can move this tank down the center as well. As I said, tank on tank violence is not recommended unless you have a good reason to. And these free units can basically rush anywhere down south or down north, whichever you want to attack. Pretty straightforward map. For blue, similar style. It's very much just a reactionary thing. As I said, you're always counting units. If you're going to rush, I would say rushing this city is fine. This city is pretty much off limits, and this city is way off limits. Blue is almost never naval invading. Um, your unit, when they try and invade the capital, it's going to get encircled. It's just too easy to get noticed. So there's no point in naval invading as blue. So this is definitely, I would say, a red-sided map. But I would say, in the grand scheme of things, relatively balanced. So that's map 11. Let's take a look at map 12. Um, at first glance, there's a lot of interesting things going on here. You'd think red would be slightly harder to reinforce, but there's actually some interesting strategy here. I would say this is relatively balanced, in my opinion. Let's see what Trades and Ellen and they think. Let's see. So we have a river map. Really? Is this not that balanced? No, that's the river. Should be right here, right? No, 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 that's the other one. This one up here. Yeah, relatively balanced as I suspect. Um, let's annotate this. So what you're going to do here is very interesting. You have a couple options. Naval invasion is probably the weakest of all the options. As you get to the higher level, I don't advise that, but it's interesting. This unit here, as always, can retreat, but whenever you retreat these units, I think red is much more risky in terms of retreating this red unit because blue just has a lot more. When you shove three units in here and you attack upward, you just need to place a blue unit here, and you will basically get border control. I forget what it's called. Zone of control, right? So they won't be able to get encircled from there. I think this is a higher level player because I remember stealing like 10 elo from this. So obviously attack in the north. Diarrhea, which is an interesting player name. Um, yeah, so tank on tank violence is not advised just because you lose morale, but once they're out of morale, then you attack into it. This boat is not going to be doing anything because it can't get across this bridge. He pulls out, which is very interesting. This gives me an attacking opportunity here, which you're going to see. You will always have a second troop to reinforce if you're going to attack here. He's pulling this up to reinforce, so that means this is going to be relatively thing. At this point, I would go to encircle with this troop here, if blue's pulling something like this off, but because I have a reinforcement. Oh, there's the naval invasion, but as I said before, I can pull back. I'm attacking. There's a second naval. He's not paying attention down south, which he really should be. This is his advantage. Pull these units down. Otherwise, you're going to get attacked from the back. Second naval invasion. Yeah, overextended. There's a 2-on-1 battle here. Red needs to be pulling these units down. Ooh, very scary. This actually, well, no, it's gonna get encircled if it goes down. That's a trap. Uh, there's some fighting in the back. I think this eventually captures the city, by the way. So nice troop maneuvering. Encirclements. Two tanks is not a good idea against this. This is gonna get encircled. Ooh, I might get the tank encirclement. I think that's what I was going for. Crazy. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so these troops are going in. I think it's worth it if I could kill a tank. I know these troops are at low health. I guess I'm looking for something. I don't know what I'm looking for here. Ooh, going for an encirclement. Ooh, I almost get encircled down here. Very risky. But oh, I go for a large encirclement in the back. Risky. These guys could be cut off. They are cut off. Crazy. There's that tank encirclement. And then this comes to reinforce and finish it off. And then we get a south. As I said, these two units, the opportunity cost of sitting on these cities is just way too high. Pull them off. They need to get involved. Another encirclement here again. Oh no, I don't. It's too big, I guess. So I'm attacking this. I noticed this. Troop imbalance. These needs to be pulled down, but I'm kind of chasing at this moment. I retreat to make sure nothing bad happens, and then it's more just maneuvering battle. Okay, nothing much to see here. That's pretty much the opening. So blue, aside from a naval invasion, it's pretty straightforward. Um, Red obviously is a tank imbalance in the north, so you're going to force it. Reinforcements here are pretty steady, but you're going to be falling behind, I think, in the long run. Um, One thing you may not notice is this city here. I used to think this city was pretty safe, except for I didn't realize you could naval invade here. So this is either a good point if you're attacking red to go through there, or to defend, this is a pretty good stacked space. So this is a very interesting thing if you're attacking into red, if you've already breached their front lines. Um, so that's interesting. As always, you could always pull this unit back if you need an extra free light unit. I always like to pull these units up to the north while these tanks are being assaulted. If these tanks go into assist, you have these tanks attack as well, and you're basically just forcing confrontation here. This is a very grind mindset. This unit can be pulled back. Try and protect the bridges if you can. This tank you'll be pulling back to the city as you're fighting for this. Blue is a little bit faster reinforce rate because of these bridges here, allowing them to maneuver troops very quickly. But as they get reinforced, it does get a little bit stuck. So just make sure to focus on picking on one side or the other, finding the weak points. And if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, always pull back. Naval invading the capital for red is going to be very difficult. I think in terms of strategic depth, blue is a little bit more strategic depth because the red capital is a lot closer to the front lines. But getting across this bridge is kind of thing, so there's probably some naval invasion opportunities. But you're almost always going to go for this main city first, unless you have some weird shenanigans where you can just attack here, which I've done a couple times. This time I'm playing as blue on this map. Obviously we're forcing this tank advantage here. Reinforce, this is actually interesting. So you pull this unit back and reinforce in the north. It's pretty standard opening here. These units I'm kind of monitoring to see what's going to go on here. If I need to retreat, these units are definitely in for supply. These units I think are just good reserve. What did I say? I think this is red-sided? Yeah, this is red-sided just because of this large open space. All-out attack is definitely risky. This tank should be going in. Nice. This tank is kind of stuck there. Advantageous. Here's So he's trying to force an error, but he has no reinforcements, which is interesting. So this is just going to go back. This is just going to taking on advantageous battles. These units need to retreat. Retreating to the water is a mistake. There's his reinforcements. This unit needs to get involved. Do I pull this unit back in time? Well, I get that unit out of the way, so it's recovering morale. That's good. 2-on-1. This needs to retreat. Yeah, pretty standard opening. I still need to resolve this issue in the north. Reinforcements, of course. Getting it to the capital. Retreating as always, so that forces them to overextend. There's the encirclement because the tanks are going to be slower. There we go. Right. There's the encirclement there. This unit needs to go up. No. Interesting. There we go. Encirclement there. Be careful of overextensions. This tank needs to go into reinforce. This unit needs to be pulled down. But yeah, I get an extra free unit. There it goes to the city. There we go. Large encirclements. Maybe rush the capital or something. I said before, out of play, this unit can be pulled down to encircle this unit, which I think I eventually will do in the long run. So I noticed this mismatch. Yeah, not much to say there. Relatively balanced, and that's I think my strategy for this map in particular. Nothing too special, and then just good cycling as always. You will find that this trying to get these units to reinforce and cycle here is a little bit time consuming just because it's going to get stuck on these obstacles on these impassable terrain, whereas red is definitely a lot more open space. So I favor red on this map, to be honest with you. Blue is fine, but I find red more fun. Similar tank imbalance there. Yeah, you could attack that, and it's just more about who can micro better at that point, and then just focusing on which units to commit. If red goes up north, you always have the tactic to pull back. I would pull these two tanks back to this city if you really need to buy time. Red at that same token will have to overextend, which means you could force these units down and try and go for a flanking maneuver or some sort of advantageous battle. Really just keep your eye on things. Relatively balanced. Let's go to map 13. Ooh, this is one of the fun maps. Okay, so at first glance, it's very interesting. Red obviously has a large tank imbalance in the north that you're going to be attacking. You have to be very careful because if you pull too far ahead, the blue units are just going to sneak in, right? And you're going to have to commit two troops down here. Most of the time, you're just having these on the front lines and you're assaulting, especially with this tank unit up in the north. If these blue units retreat, you're going to move these tanks upward to try and capture these three units over here, and you're basically just trying to encircle them. Be wary of an encirclement. Always, at worst case scenario, send one unit back. What blue has the opportunity to do is naval invade. Right, blue has two options: naval invade here or naval invade here. It's pretty open. Most of the time, these two cities will be open just because red is just fighting to battle here. Meanwhile, blue obviously has a tank imbalance down in the south. You're going to bear it down. What's very interesting, and it has happened to me many times before, red overextends and then just gets crushed, right? Because of this two tank imbalance down there. Always be wary of overextensions. Both blue and red should be retreating here and going for a naval invasion. That is definitely something that would probably be quite prudent. Yeah, these are just overextended, especially with these tanks. You're basically pulling back to the city, just creating a crumble ball. I'm pretty sure some of the higher level players, Asterion and Girth McSlammer, Icy, and all those guys probably have a way to exploit that ball. But you're really for me, my strategy for most players is just buying time. You're going to either try and win in the north, retreat these tanks into the forest so you have plenty of time. As I said before, I think high level players probably have good maneuverability in micro. These units are all just going to bundle up here, just retreat a little bit. Combat width, or I mean, combat depth is not very good for red. Blue definitely has it. Naval invasion for red is a lot harder, just because it's so easy to see. You have definitely easier reinforce. So I think this is definitely a blue focus map. I feel like I've shown this footage already. But as I said before, you're forcing an error here. Make sure these units are properly covered so they don't go through the stopgap. There's the naval invasion, which if you need, this naval invasion is super useful to reinforce. But I said before, there's some sneaky naval invasions up here in the north. You could sneak a troop back here, so make sure you're always watching these troops. If in that case you pull a unit back, there's that unit encirclement. You're basically forcing this area up north, and you're just going to continue this troop advantage. But as I said before, this is so open, you rush a couple units, make sure you always have a unit closer to the city than they are. Blue can do a naval invasion over here, pull some units from here, pull some from the center. Um, Obviously, blue notices that, but I think it's a little bit too late with that large unit cost. So I'm pretty much just going for the city at this point. There's an encirclement happening. Do I decide to rush? Oh, I think I go for an encirclement. No. Very dangerous, actually. Definitely could get encircled or counter encircled, depending. Oh, there's the encirclement. Yeah, I make it to the city as well. So very lucky there. Um, just encirclement. He should be going for the cities at this point if he's counting units. So like yeah, that's the scary part. If he gets these cities, I'm kind of screwed. I could also just retreat back as well. But thankfully he doesn't notice, and I get my units back in time. Very risky though. I almost get encircled. But yeah, see, have my units retreat there. Pretty standard opening. This unit is going to mess around in the back, in our opponent's back line. And yeah, I have my tanks retreat to the city just 'cause it's going to take a while to reinforce. A little bit too late now. These units can just go in and yeah, game. Although I enjoy playing red. I enjoy playing red on this map a lot. Let's see what the consensus is here. Um, oh, it's a peninsula map. Oh, really? It's F. Really unbalanced. Okay, so blue should be winning this 60% of the time, I guess. So this is like the whole white and black chess pieces dilemma in chess. So yeah, very interesting. I like this map a lot. A lot of fun imbalances. It's going to be quick. Against the high level player though, this is a very scary map. Yeah, take advantage of these tank imbalances. Make sure you don't overextend. It's very hard to overextend with this city here. But yeah, I like this. This is very fun. This is a test of combat skill. So yeah, that's map 13. We'll go on to map 14. Ooh, okay. This one I've developed an interesting strategy for. So there's a couple way to do this. Obviously, what you're going to do is naval invade. That's one option. You're basically, because you have vision, line of sight in this fog of war, you can see where these two units. If these two units move, most often they're going to reinforce in the city. If you notice extra units pop up, you know these units have gone to reinforce. So blue obviously is immediately going to reinforce and have this unit sit here. What blue can do is either go forth or whatnot. Red obviously has some counter movement where red can just go for a naval invasion as well. There's just a lot of points to attack. Um, Very rarely do you go for the capital. Because all the units are in sight, you're basically playing a counting game to see if you can rush through or not. That's always an interesting opportunity. But if it's even, red is two tanks here. Very easy to overextend, so definitely be careful. But you definitely have a unit count. Blue, on the other hand, has tanks up here, which is really nice because you get this 3-on-1 battle over here. So that's your force. Make sure you don't overextend. Red might swing in or something, so just always be careful of that. Um, I don't really like attacking here. I do like to use like some gap shenanigans or just going down the line of encirclements like that with this tank and just forcing this line to move or retreat because there's just so much open space back here. Um, I think I prefer blue a little bit, but red is perfectly fine. As I said before, red is going to be going through these cities. Blue is going to be going this way. These tank-on-tank battles is going to just take too long. So it's really a race of who can micro better. Um, there's going to be a lot of encirclements. If you're really scared, pull this back, but this is a very encircle-heavy map just because of this large open space here. A lot of overextensions or whatnot. We'll see this with similar theme with map 22. Anything where there's an imbalance is always a really dynamic map in my opinion. This is a weak point for blue. So I mean red is a little bit slower reinforced, but red eventually is going to break through here. I wouldn't try to retreat these units. So I guess it is a little bit red heavy, just based on strategy. But I always enjoy playing blue here. But yeah, red is eventually going to break through, so you need to make sure you find a breakthrough in the long run. This is not a map to be defensive on. Pull these tanks back to the city if you need to. This city is almost never getting defended. I don't know if this gap is traversable. This gap is definitely not traversable. It's too low on the map. You could do some reinforced strats maybe if you place a unit here and here. I just don't recommend it. As I said before, if you need to retreat, stop gap here. No tanks in this area. I would assume. Tank here. Red is very scary with a lot of naval invasions. Blues just has a lot of cities on the front line. So I would say this is biased a little bit toward red, but a lot of interesting strategies. Another fun map as well. You'll see a lot of interesting high-level play. So yeah, that's map 14, and we'll move on to map 15. Last one for this map pool. Ooh, this is a chonky one. At the beginning, this is very annoying because there are no breakthroughs, there's no brilliant plays, but I have developed minor strategies. Almost always, you are going to retreat these units north. Blue, I think, has a little bit of a disadvantage. So here's the thing. Number one, always retreat your northern units before your southern units. Because if blue retreats this units too early and then retreats this, all red needs to do is swing these two units in and up, and then these two blue units are encircled. Make sure you always retreat your northern blue units first. Oh, we're fighting Peacopes again. So I'm red this time. Oh, is this the one where I talk about the swing? I think it is. I feel like I have a lot more matches, but they're missing. So maybe there is a limit. So this is what happens if you retreat the back line too early. Do I go for it? I think I do go for it. And these guys are going to go down. Yeah, this is why retreat the top before you retreat the bottom. This is much more dangerous for blue. Obviously you have this tank, but pull some units there. There we go. I mean, this 2-on-1 favorable battle. Blue's gonna have a hard time finding a way to attack. Still favorable trades, but very scary. I mean, I think, yeah, combat width is a lot higher for red than blue. Because blue's gonna have a hard time escaping, right? This unit needs to pull back. Do I pull it back in time? No, it doesn't. Oh, that's unfortunate. Dang, that trade could have been net positive. No point in continuing that. But that's a pretty standard opening. There's the tanks that I was talking about here. Pulling these back, I'm looking to see if they get extended. The more troops blue has here, there's an opportunity cost because this tank is here. It's not attacking. So eventually, these troops are going to trade positive. He's already paying for it because these light troops are so much faster. Pulling this unit back, he's losing light troops. I mean, a lot of his troops are out of position. This tank is going to get attacked on both sides. I can even attack this light unit. So it's interesting. Pulling back my healthy units. As I said, opportunity cost. This tank should not be here. It needs to be engaging something. And then, yeah, there's that. These units need to get in and reinforce. Ooh, tank breakthrough. Yeah, see, this is what happens when you don't have units in position. Out of position units aren't doing anything. Going for a second kill, I might lose that unit. This needs to be pulled back. Oh, 2-on-1 engagement. Very nice. Second tank kill. Ooh, dang. So yeah, blue's behind on troop count. Even though I'm down on troop count, I have extra units, so mine's gonna heal faster. This tank is, I think, dead. I think I traded a light. Oh, I don't even trade a light. Can I get this out though? Ooh, I might be able to. Ooh, I sneak it through. Very nice. Ooh, this tank needs to get out though. Oh, I guess I opened the combat with. Interesting decision there. I think it's a mistake, but hey, it's hard to tell. You're making approximate trade-offs. Going for this tank. So I'm down on troop count, but I'm ahead in terms of unit count, which is what's more important, according to DES Productions and Advanced Spores by Webb. So yeah, he's losing a lot of units. A healthy tank, healthy tank. This tank has done no damage so far, so he's gonna lose more units than I am. He may be able to get some retreat. If he does a full-on retreat, I think would be smart. This is gonna be close. I think this tank is going to die as well. It just can't escape the light units. Yeah, so there's the light unit breakthrough, and then this tank is gonna die. I'm ahead on unit and troop count as well. This unit needs to be pulled back. I think I lose this unit because blue's gonna swing around. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, I do get this out. Blue should have swung. Oh, it's still stuck. Okay, well that unit's dead. This unit is thing, but troop advantage. Pretty standard opening. I've seen it many times before. It happened many times. There's no point attacking this with a tank. It's just too slow and there's too much of a stopgap. So I don't recommend it. Shoot. There's just too much of a stopgap. This is just too. It's very easy to get overextended, and it's just really not recommended attacking there. What I like to do is I put a red tank here. You expand the combat width, which means you can just attack with more units. Blue is a little bit of a defensive advantage. Red, you're basically just attacking these weak units here. Blue, you have plenty of options. Retreating is definitely an option. I just find it slow. I'd rather take the battle to them. And basically, you're just going to be watching your flank. There's almost under no circumstances are you really going to be attacking the capital through here unless they have like sheer superior force, and at that point you're having a very large troop mismatch. Um, but yeah, most of it is this is a very boring map because a lot of these battles are just going to be happening in the center and just seeing who can reinforce or push better. Um, the further back you retreat, the quicker your reinforce rate is. I think red is a slight advantage. I mean, this obstacle is a little bit blocking the way, but it makes the terrain a lot more defensible. There's no reason why you should be retreating these units. You could actually get away with it, pull this unit back, because if they need to pull these units forward, it's going to be overextended. So, as I said before, with these two troops pulled back, you get like extra light units out of position, which just gives you uh, um, a gap in time. These units questionable, but yeah, if you need to pull one unit back because 2 on 1 is not going to, you just pull one back and go for an encirclement here. It just takes a lot of resources to attack the capital. Blue, I think, is definitely a lot safer. I enjoy playing red on this map. Even though blue has a larger combat depth for this capital is almost never getting captured unless red breaks through. It's basically whoever could get the first city. I've never seen this funnel used for anything in any actual battle. Same with this. Yeah, this is probably one of the most boring maps, and let's see what the consensus is. Oh, it's not even F tier. I call this F tier in terms of fun. This needs to be moved to B. Map 10 needs to be moved to B. Um, what is this, map 15? Yeah. Yeah, it's relatively balanced, but good grief, is this a boring game. But yeah, that's map 15.